Can our thoughts create peace? You know, this year, it feels like we're facing a lot of really big challenges. I think this came to me at the beginning of the year when we were looking at the past year and then looking at what was coming up. And it just felt like there was so much wrong in the world, so much conflict, wars, climate, and then also in personal lives. Many people passing, healing challenges, all kinds of things that were really getting us down. It sort of seemed overwhelming. It's easy to feel helpless, but we're not. So let's explore that a little bit. You know, every week we sing at church, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." It's beautiful. It's a whole bunch of people joining their voices. Now, does that count for peace? I think it does. I'm sure it does. But you know what? There's more. So I've always been fascinated by quantum physics and the statements that they make about the way the world works, because they are describing the world differently than it had been for hundreds of years. The way the world works had been described more like very mechanical, very cause and effect. And then the quantum physicists came in and started talking about the world operating in a very different way, replacing that older version that everything operates like a machine of cause and effect. And it even extended to our bodies. Sometimes, occasionally, our bodies would be compared to an automobile. So like if you put a new carburetor in a car and you hook it up correctly, the car toodles off. Well, now if you put a new hip in a person, which in itself is a miracle, and you hook everything up correctly and sew everything up, that's really not the end of it. No, there's a lot more. There's PT, there's exercise, there's dealing with pain, there is wondering what your mental attitude is about this new place, this new way that your body is working. So what always has amazed me about the quantum folks is how they describe the universe so differently. Now, I was first introduced to this actually when I was in ministerial training, because we took a class. Part of our curriculum was a class with Amit Goswami, who was a teacher of quantum physics. He also had a deep spiritual connection to a lot of world religions. It was a fascinating class, and it really got my interest. And so what the quantum physicists do is describe how the world works at the tiniest level, the very tiniest level. And it sounds very similar to the way we describe spirit and the way we describe the presence, which is probably why it was so fascinating to me and why we were asked to take this class during ministerial training. So I decided to look at this a little bit more, and I ran into a quote that I'd never seen before by a quantum physicist I had never heard of before. And that's probably because he was very early in the game. He actually died in the late 40s. His name was James Jean. He was English and taught at Cambridge. And here's what he said. "The universe begins to look more like a great thought than like a great machine, with mind the creator and governor of the realm of matter." With mind, the creator and the governor of real matter, of matter, of stuff. Very interesting. And then lately I also have been revisiting Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth, and came across this passage which reflected exactly what James Jean had said. What we perceive as physical matter is energy vibrating at a particular range of frequencies. Thoughts consist of the same energy, vibrating at a higher frequency than matter, which is why they cannot be seen or touched. Thoughts have their own range of frequencies, with negative thoughts at the lower end and positive thoughts at the higher. So what he is declaring, both of them, is that everything is energy. Both matter is energy, and also our thoughts are energy. They're made of the same thing. Just like we say spirit is in us, around us, and through us, it's in everything, including us, of course. Now, I want to go down this rabbit hole just a little further and talk about David Hawkins. Now, David Hawkins was a brilliant man. He wrote quite a famous book called Power versus Force. And he even spoke here at Mile High Church. I think it was the early 2000s. I heard him speak. And what he had done was laid out the entire spectrum of consciousness, from the lower levels of things like shame. Shame, by the way, was the lowest number that he gave it. Fear and anger, all the way up to courage, acceptance, and reason, and then even further to love, joy, and peace. And then he calibrated these and gave them calibrations. The very highest was enlightenment. And I remember him saying somewhere that, not very many people ever would be in that consciousness range. The Dalai Lama would be close. I remember that. So what he said is these higher energy fields are carrier waves of immense life energy. So if these energy fields of words like peace, of the consciousness of peace, the consciousness of love and joy, carry this high level of life energy in it, then in fact, our desire for peace, our words about peace, can make peace, can change what's happening. So how would we go about that? Well, in very typical ways for us. First of all, affirmations. So what I'm suggesting now is that when you see the images on TV or you read it online about what's going on in the world, and it feels so overwhelming and depressing, you have your affirmation ready. Because remember, our thoughts have this high, immense life energy in them, and so they matter. So an affirmation like infinite peace surrounds the world. When you see that picture on the TV of the war in Ukraine or the war in Israel and Hamas, infinite peace surrounds the world. Infinite peace. Another one would be peace unto me, peace unto my family, peace unto my nation, peace unto my world. And another would be to say, I honor world leaders with peace. I shower them with notions of peace. So that's affirmations. That's one thing. The second one would be visualization. And I think the reason this one could be so strong is because we are bombarded with the negative visuals constantly. And so how could we visualize peace? We could visualize world leaders sitting together speaking. We are here to figure out how to make peace. Visualizing them sitting in a round table and being willing. It's a visualization that you can make in your mind. And then also there might be visualizing things like people in neighborhoods who maybe live in a neighborhood where there are different kinds of people, but they're shaking hands. They are going to the park and having picnic together. These are visualizations that can use that immense life energy in those high vibrational words like love and peace and joy. And then, of course, the third thing is prayer, the obvious. So you would center yourself in that presence and feel it the way you know. It's in, around, and through me. The energy of spirit is right where I am. You feel that presence. And then, having established that, you would say the affirmations that you want, or the intentions, or the affirmations. We walk in the way of peace. We walk in the way of peace. Everyone in the world is walking in the way of peace. Let there be peace in the world. So when you think about some of the just very distressing things that are going on in the world, or possibly even in your own life, don't despair, because we have the power of our thought. We have the power of our thought and the vibration of our thought at those highest levels that can change things. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with my thoughts.
And in this moment, the feelings of peace prevail over all that there is. Peace everywhere. For wherever we are, whoever we are, peace exists. The light, the love, the joy, the expressions of our heart come through in peace. It's there. It's there with every step taken, every breath, every movement within. And within those movements, Spirit and I are one. And in that oneness, that wholeness, the complete feeling of love, all is peace. All moves through as peace. In knowing this, in feeling this, in declaring that there is peace, despite conflict that may exist, there is peace. I know and affirm, going forward, every minute, every day, every week, every year, peace lives and breathes through all of us. To know this peace is our expression, our heartfelt desire and connection, not just within ourselves, but to every community, every person, everything that exists. That peace moves forward. In knowing this and claiming this, the love, light, and joy of all humanity is present now, and peace it is. I am so grateful, so thankful. In knowing that the truth, its presence, is always there, abundantly so, gratefully so, thankful that we all connect in this moment in peace, prayerfully. This gratitude deepens and strengthens all of us. Thank you. And as I release my word into the law, knowing, feeling, and expressing peace, I know it is present now and exists always. And so it is.
you.